IVM.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Musafir Stories, India's very own travel podcast, where each week we share the journey of travelers in their own words and relive their experiences with you, our listeners.
Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode on the Musafir Stories podcast. Hope you're all well and staying safe during this festive season. Have fun, but make sure to social distance. Before we get on with today's episode, as always, a quick shout out to some of our listeners who have taken time out to write to us. We'd like to thank Venkat Malampati, Shalin Choksi, Ankita Das, Devshri Agarwal, Naveen Godial, Preet Srimali, Akash Chatterjee, Subhas, Shubham Joshi, and Joydeep Chakraborty. As for today's episode, we wanted to add the icing on the cake by taking you to one of the most colorful cities of India during this festive season. Let's join travel blogger and podcaster Madhurima Chakraborty as she takes us to the city of joy. Let's jump onto the episode and find out more. So with that introduction, we'd love to welcome Madhurima Chakraborty from the blog orangewayfarer.com. Madhurima, thank you so much for being a part of the Musafir Stories and welcome.
Hey Madhurima, welcome to the Musafir Stories.
Thank you, Saif. Thank you, Faiza. I'm very glad to be part of your podcast. I have been listening to you guys for so long, and it's absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you. The pleasure is all ours. And yeah, we also have not only ace travel blogger in Madhurima, but we also have a fellow podcaster who has a podcast by the same name as well. And she gives you a wonderful offering both in English and Bengali, perhaps one of the first Bengali podcasts as well. So definitely do make sure to check it out. But
we'll add the links in the show notes section, so it'll be much easier for anybody to go ahead and check it out.
Absolutely. And but the introduction, Madhurima, we gave about you is very short and concise. Why don't you give us a little bit more in terms of who Madhurima is and your blog as well?
Sure. So I am a Kolkata born and Kolkata bred girl who quit Calcutta 10 years back for studies and jobs and other stuff, and have traveled all over the country in India. I first visited Delhi and was there for 2-3 years, and then I came to Bangalore, and now for past 5 to 6 years I am settled here almost. I pursued my masters in Bangalore, and then I worked here for a few days, and now I'm traveling full time. I mean, not during COVID, of course. Now I'm locked down at home. I'm a full-time travel blogger now. I write about food and culture and many other nuances and stories from the road when I explore the country and the world. Of course, I love traveling in India, and I love to talk about Calcutta, which is my hometown. But another destination which I love, and I don't think there is much representation of it in Indian travel blogging community, that is Africa. It's one of the very underrepresented travel destination in the entire world scenario, and that's where my love lies, and that's where I love traveling. And so far, I think I have traveled to 15 or 16 countries. I mean, I don't really keep a count, but I mean, and I have written about some of them on my blog. You can check them out on orangewayfarer.com.
That is brilliant. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And yes, we will link all of them in the show notes so listeners have a ready reference to Madhurima's blog. Now, to kind of break the suspense a little bit, I know Madhurima is from Calcutta, but yeah, just to kind of complete that formality, let me ask you where you're taking us and the listeners to.
I would love to take you guys to Kolkata, Calcutta, whatever way you call it. So that's my hometown. That's where I was born. And I was raised across in Bengal, but Calcutta is where I have, spent most of my formative years of life. I have studied there. I have romanced on the streets of Calcutta. I have tended to my broken heart on the streets of Calcutta, and I keep going back there. and I'm the happiest when I'm in Calcutta. So I would be very happy to share about my hometown, which is Kolkata, with you guys.
Okay, we are all excited to listen.
Yes, very, very excited to be talking about the city of joy. And yeah, like you very aptly put it, the city where you've seen joy and sorrow and love and many, many more emotions.
Yes.
Now, this comes with a disclaimer that we've always kind of been nervous about talking about bigger cities on the podcast, just because we cannot do a lot of justice in the limited time we have on one episode on 60 minutes or whatever, right? So that's why even on this one, it's a disclaimer that we'd probably be touching a surface, because a city like Calcutta, it's so rich and so deep and so broad also that it becomes really hard doing justice fully. So it's our humble attempt along with Madhurima to kind of take the best bits from Madhurima's experiences there, and also any specific parts of Calcutta that we'd like to focus today on, Madhurima.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we can talk about Calcutta if we are not putting enough stress on the northern part of the city. So we'll start. I'll start taking you from the north of Calcutta, then I'll take you to the central part, Chorongi, which is the Anglo part of Calcutta, and the paras and rocks of the narrow old dingy lanes of North Kolkata. And I think that's where the heart of the city lies.
Wonderful, wonderful. And just in terms of orientation, right, for some of us who might not be very familiar, can you please draw out where Calcutta is on the map?
Sure. So Calcutta is the capital of West Bengal, which is a state of eastern India. And Calcutta is also known as the cultural capital of India. Not many know, probably now, as today's is, but Calcutta is also the former capital of India. Like, it was the first British capital of India. And this is where the Renaissance of India, so as to say, started, which is basically introducing modern education system. I mean, of course, there are a lot of criticism associated with that now, and we can, of course, criticize and do better. But then things changed a lot, and basically the first air of modern world came in India through Calcutta. I would like to put it like that.
Yep.
So that's where Calcutta is special. And it was basically, dense forest and farmland. And suddenly these people came and they changed the face of three villages, three adjacent villages. And that's how the history started. So.
Yep. Absolutely. Very, very significant. Yeah, the Britishers first came here and set up a trading post here. But even going back thousands of years ago, whenever the first civilizations was, Calcutta has, or not necessarily Calcutta, but Bengal, right, has been like very, very significant to the history of this region, right, the Indian subcontinent as well. It has like its connections date back to thousands of years ago, right, from being mentioned in like epics in the Mahabharata, right? Calling it out as a place of the Vangas, I believe, right? The kingdom of the Vangas, and later on, obviously, like greats like Ashoka from the Maurya Empire, right? He ruled, and then there was other big dynasties that ruled this place, like the Palas or the Sena dynasty and all of them. And obviously, there was this phase when during the medieval times when it was ruled by what is called as the Bengal Sultanate, right? All of this was going on.
Nawab Sirajuddaulah.
Nawabs, exactly, the Nawabs of Bengal. And during this time is when the Britishers actually came here as a trading company at that time, East India Company. Job Charnok was the one who set up the first trading post here. And slowly, we know what followed next. I think eventually it came to a point where the Britishers actually took this over from the rulers, the natives of the place, and they established the East India Company. And the first capital, like Madhurima mentioned, of the British East India Company at that time was based here out of these three villages. These villages, I believe, are Kalikata, Gobindapura, I guess.
Govindapur,
right?
Shutanuti, Kolkata. So there were three names, So
exactly.
Shutanuti, I cannot call it Sutanuti. I'll just call it Shutanuti. Okay, that's how we pronounce it.
Yeah.
So I know there is this saw and shaw. The way we pronounce these things, it's it's very confusing for a non-native Bengali speaker. But so basically, Shutanuti is the place that we call as North Kolkata as of today. So when Job Charnok came, so basically there was this Battle of Palasi and Nawab Sirajuddaulah. He was the last ruler of free Bengal and independent Bengal, and he lost it to there were two people. One was Raja Krishna Chandra Dev of Navadvip, and then there was Mir Zafar. These two people had actually joined with the Britishers, and the Britishers took over this place. But Job Charnok was basically a businessman, and he bought these three villages, Shutanuti, Govindapur and Kolkata. And once he bought these three villages, he set up the first of everything, first of offices, first of the places which would be employing, all those knives. And Kolkata, or Calcutta as they had set it up, was basically the heart of that British administration, where they would be collecting taxes. Now, as and when they started with that process, they realized they need a lot of people, educated enough to understand and write and speak and converse in English, who will, help that system. And that's where they had started with all the colleges and schools and everything, and all the education started. And of course, the byproduct of it came as the Indian Renaissance, they call it, or the Bengal Renaissance. And that's where North Calcutta became what it is now. The College Street and Shyam Bazaar and Central and all these parts. I mean, they have some of the oldest colleges, oldest schools, and they're still some of the most premier schools and education systems of the country, if I can say it like that.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, a very, very significant bit of history as well associated, given that it was ruled, it was the capital of the Britishers, right? Right from 1772 to 1911. So a significant part of the time that the Britishers were here, Calcutta was the capital, and as a result, it has like a very, very, I guess it's just rubbed off a lot of the Raj era or the colonial era that we call it. It has a lot of those components, right from architecture to education and a lot of things, right from the localities as well, like you said. Now, just talking a little bit more about North Calcutta, right, like you said, would you also like to call out, like, I guess how the setup is, like, and what part of this was where the zamindars or the locals lived, and then the Britishers, etc. Yeah.
Sure. So when we're talking about North Calcutta, we have to understand this is the part of the city which sits right by the bank of Ganga, which we call Hooghly in this part of the world. So Ganga gets divided into two parts. One, the major force of the water goes to Bangladesh in the name of Podda. And one tributary comes down through the Bengal Delta, and that is Hooghly. And earlier, back in the days, there was another part, another tributary which was called Buri Ganga, and Buri Ganga is basically flowing through Kalighat, by the side of Kalighat. Now the water is really, really it's stagnant there on Buri Ganga. The river is dying there, but Hooghly is still very magnificent as it is, or as she was always. So it's sitting by the river Ganga. So it's starting from North Kolkata, if we are talking about it, strictly as what it had been in the olden days. It starts from Bagh Bazaar and then goes on to, from Bagh Bazaar, it goes to Shyam Bazaar, then Shutanuti, Girish Park, and then it goes on to Chitpur area. And from there, Ganga takes another turn, it goes towards Bajbaj, and that is also the place from where all this Maidan and central Calcutta part starts. And it's that is where Chorungi and Goremat is the place where Kolkata of olden days stopped. And from there, the South Calcutta started, which is, comparatively the newer part of Calcutta.
Sure.
That's a completely different place. When you go to this part of the city, you instantly recognize this part is newly built, this part is very swank and fine and suave and everything. And the North Calcutta is very old, and everything is very, very old looking, historical. You have stepped into a place which is wrapped in time. It's
Sure.
very, heritage is the essence of life here, and also it's very slow. North Kolkata, life here is very slow, very content, and people are happy that way. But in South, everyone is running, the buses are loaded with people, and otherwise, South is very new and very different. I mean, if I am to suggest someone to explore Calcutta, I will definitely tell them start from North. And it's very easy to explore North Calcutta because it's very well connected with a metro station.
Yep.
Every nodal point of North Kolkata has one prominent metro station. So you can just hop into the metro, get down at the station, explore that area by feet, and then get into the metro again and get down at the next stop. Or you can just walk. The north of Calcutta is very walkable. So that is also there.
That's good. It's really great that it's very well connected as well. And to your point that there is the metro trains, and even I believe the first metro rail or metro train system of India was also started here in Calcutta in around 1984.
Yes.
So
and in northern Calcutta, most of the metro runs under the
underground.
Underground.
Okay.
So that's very unique about the city.
Very, very interesting. But getting back to the focus of the conversation today, which is North Calcutta. Where do you want to get us started, Madhurima, in taking us around the itinerary? Yeah?
You have to start from Shyam Bazaar when you are starting from. So Shyam Bazaar has this place called 5 Point Mall. 5 Point Mall is 5 different main streets from different suburbs of Calcutta is coming and coming to a joint at the Shyam Bazaar 5 Point Mall. We call that Pachmatha Mall. And why it is famous is because there is this Netaji statue. So Netaji is sitting on a horse and then he is pointing at this direction. So the common way we used to identify at that time is if you want to go to Bethune school, you take the tail. You take the tail of the horse, and if you want to go towards Tala, you walk where Netaji is pointing his direction, or you take to his left side and you go to Kumartuli or near the Ganga. So it's like that, So 5 Point Mall is one of the one of the nerve centers of North Calcutta.
Yeah, very iconic statue of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. This is that Madhurima is referring to. Him seated on a horse. Right, that's the iconic statue at this 5 Point crossing. What did you mention in the local, I guess Bengali? Like, what's the crossing called?
Pachmathal Mall. So 5 Point Mall. In English, you can say that, and people understand. 5 Point Mall, Shyam Bazaar 5 Point Mall, and it is also one of the transport hubs. So trams. Run from there. Then there are a lot of buses run from there. There is also a metro station. So it's almost like you can say Shialda station, but sans the train. There is Calcutta train station nearby, but it is very important. So you have to start from Shyam Bazaar Mall, and when you're there, you cannot miss Golbari Kosha Mangsho, which is there is this Golbari Kosha Mangsho is basically mutton preparation. Kosha Mangsho is a very famous Bengali mutton preparation. It's there, it's served there, right there. And Golbari is, what I know is Golbari is basically established by a Punjabi family. And they make that Kosha Mangsho, which is now integral to every Bengali family. Anything special happening in Bengali, they want to recreate that Golbari Kosha Mangsho. It's a fiery, oily mutton preparation. It's served with parathas, and it's one of the best things you can eat in Calcutta. You should definitely try that out.
Yeah, very, very interesting, and seems like a very, very busy area as well, right? With a confluence of all of these roads and obviously all of these people as well, like you're mentioning. But Shyam Bazaar is basically, I guess, it's a market, but it's more like a neighborhood also, right?
It's a neighborhood. It's not a market. It's a neighborhood. The name is there as bazaar. There are many shops and all, but it's not a local market kind of place. It's actually a neighborhood. So in Shyam Bazaar, you also get to see a lot of those old houses. But to see those old houses, what you should do is from Shyam Bazaar, you should take a walk to Hathi Bagan. And that's like you can also get into the tram. I think they charge 4 rupees or 5 rupees to take you to Hathi Bagan market, but you should walk if you can, because that walk is very enjoyable. And in Hathi you have that market area, so you get everything there, like starting from jewelries, cheap jewelries, junk jewelries, and dresses and saris and cloth pieces, and everything you get there in Hathi So that is one of the very rewarding walking area, I would say. And on the way, you should also try Kachori, as we call Kachori. We call that Kachori. You should try that from Horidash Modok. These places, everything that I'm mentioning, these are all century-old places. All these places, they're existing there for more than 100 years, and people love eating there. Like local people, they have put their trust on these eateries for ages, through generations. So you should definitely try them out. So one of the places is Horidash Modok, and they serve this amazing kachori and in the morning, only during breakfast, and it's very specific to North Kolkata. You don't find it in South. You don't find it anywhere else. Only in the areas of North Kolkata, they give you this shalpata thonga, which is made of shal leaves. The plates made of shal leaves, so very sustainable. And on that, they serve you this kachori and the potato sabzi, and you eat that, and you follow it up with that Calcutta tea served on earthen pot, and that's how your morning should start. That's how my morning used to start when I used to explore these places.
So I think in that way, walking should definitely be the preferred mode of transport, so you can go walking around, and whenever you're tired, you can kind of dip into some very rich and very old and popular eateries like Madhurima I just mentioned. Now, having made a quick pit stop here, what else would you like to explore while in this region?
Okay, so from Shyam Bazaar you are coming to Hathi Bagan, and then from Hathi Bagan you can take two routes. Either you can go right near Ganga, and you can go explore Kumotuli. So Kumotuli is the place where they make Durga idols, and as we know, Durga Puja happens only during October. So the idol making actually starts on the day of Ratha Yatra, and it is also a very interesting thing that I want to include here. Any Durga idol they make, the first miti, the first mold of earth is actually taken from a prostitute's house, and it is also the place which is situated close to Harkata Goli, Shonagachi, which is also one of the oldest and biggest red light area in the world. And recently, in past 2-3 years, a lot of effort has been made in that area in the Durga Puja. I'll talk about Durga Puja later in detail, but many pandals, they want to highlight the struggle of this woman, who are there. And I think that's a very intriguing thing that I have learned while exploring Kumartuli. The first earth,
very interesting also to learn about that little backstory, that the first, I guess, clay is taken from one of the
red light area.
The red light areas, the houses there, right? Very, very interesting. But like you were mentioning, Kumartoli is basically the quarters for the potters, right? These are the potters who make the Durga idols, right?
Idols, and just not Durga idol, anything else. So after Durga Puja, when rest of the country celebrates Diwali, we have Kali Puja, which is not just Kali Ghat Puja. This is another small scale. Compared to Durga Puja, it's small scale, but still it happens. And Kali idols are made, and then there is Kartik idol, or Ganesh. During Ganesh Puja, there's Ganesh idols are made. So many. Even when they're not these goddesses, they want to make an idol of, say, somebody wants to make an idol of Rabindranath Tagore or Vivekananda or somebody like that, and you go to Kumartuli to see that. And I think I also spotted a Spider-Man idol there. I was like, okay, this is the height. This is the best thing. And it is still there. Like when you enter, you see there is a Spider-Man just tucked on top of a house, and it is made at Kumartuli. So it's basically the potter's quarter. And
very interesting, right? Like I understand there's like about 200 families that have lived on here literally hundreds of years now,
Yeah,
right? And a lot of the like we touched upon, the Durga idols obviously come from here, but not just here, they're also exported, right, to different parts of the world. So that way it's a very significant area, and it's interesting that it's carried on.
Yeah, Kumatoli Durgas has a very distinct style. It is called Dakeshaj. Dakeshaj earlier. So when, as I said, we start to talk about Durga Puja, I have to talk about Durga Puja. When Durga Puja started, it was initiated by a handful of very wealthy Hindu zamindars who had somehow benefited from East India Company taking over the land.
Right.
They suddenly became very rich, and they wanted to show their riches and all. And earlier, when Durga Puja used to happen, they used to throw feasts and party, and people didn't cook for 1 month or so. I mean, they used to come to their house and used to eat there. Now, of course, the celebration does not scale up to that level, but earlier it used to be like that. They used to spend crores of rupees at that age, which is unthinkable. So they used to bring the ornaments of the goddess sometimes they used to bring them from Germany, and there used to be all these silver foils and stuff like that, and they call it Dakeshaj because that used to come through postal. Post is duck in Bengal.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so they can't make that silver foil every time anymore, but they make something similar to that duck, and it is Dakeshaj. It is only made in Kumatuli. So if you go to other parts of rural Bengal, my ancestral home is in Bakura, which is 200 kilometers from Calcutta, and I had spent a few Durga Pujas there, and Durga Pujas are very different in rural Bengal and Calcutta in terms of festivities or the grandeur. So I used to hear these people say, people of Bakura, they used to say, no, I like Kumatuli Durga idols better. I like their style better because the style is very different. And later I understood it is because the Dakeshaj which makes all the difference between Kumatuli Durga and Durgas from other parts of Bengal.
Very interesting, and also I think it's very interesting, like you called out, right? Back in the day, this was famous for the kind of, I won't call them parties, but basically the celebrations and the feasts that were thrown by the zamindars of the area, right? So that's what it was very promising for. But I hear even now there is all of these places in North Kolkata where the Durga Puja celebration is still very popular, right? Some of these are actually in that same style, like that done by the zamindars. Maybe not at that scale, but very similar, right?
Yeah. So let me say that. So what happens is when you are traveling in Kolkata during Durga Puja, you have to attend one of the Bonedi Bari Puja. So these zamindars' houses, they are now called as Bonedi Bari. Bonedi is those heritage houses. So if you know about Rani Rashmoni, who was the main who supported Ramakrishna Dev's first endeavor to revive Hinduism and all that. Her zamindari house had one of the largest Durga Puja celebration. Then of course there is all these houses in Chitpur area. There is Mitro Bari, then there is Pal Bari, then there is Navakrishna Dev's house, and these are all the zamindars' houses. I have a blog on that actually, and if you search, I think it comes on top of Google. You will get all these addresses there, and it's not possible to explore those houses this year, I think, because of COVID. They're not open for normal people, but those houses are still continuing with the legacy of Durga Puja, and it is said that one house used to celebrate this Durga Puja, and Durga Ma used to go to her house for entertainment, and then the next house she used to go for prasad, and the next house she used to go for bhog, and the prasad they cook, it's very distinct. They have their own style. I mean, somebody would be decorating the place very well. Somebody would be preparing huge spread of food. Somebody would be providing her with the best of the finest of the jewelry. And of course, the jewelry they prepare for adorning the goddess, the idol, that is also very distinct. And that is actually run through the family through, generations. And nobody else touches those jewelry. And probably they add on to that jewelry every year. The designs and style and everything, it's very shabeki, as they call it. Shabeki is also very old style, in Bengali. Shabeki means very old
Antique,
style.
I guess. Yeah.
Antique. It's very beautiful.
Very, very, very interesting. And I'm sure if we start to discuss Durga Puja in detail, it'll take up perhaps a few episodes of the podcast to cover off Durga Puja, right from Kumartoli, where it's prepared and the process it's prepared in, to just the puja and the various festivities and the decorations and the different rituals and everything that's involved in it. It's brilliant. But what we could definitely do is we'll link some very, very interesting blog posts that Madhurima herself has written on the Durga Puja celebration within Calcutta, and has covered it out beautifully well, especially for some of us who haven't had a chance to kind of be a part of these in Calcutta. It's a great opportunity to go look at those blogs and perhaps get inspired and attend these whenever it is possible now, because of all the restrictions. I don't know when it'll be possible to, but it is a great way to vicariously enjoy all of the different features that the Durga Puja celebrations offer for you. Now, having touched upon some of the important aspects of Kumartoli, right? Where next would you like to kind of carry on from here?
Yeah, so from Kumartoli, you need to go to College Street. I mean, once you have explored the, old houses of North, you go to College Street. So College Street, I have studied in Bethune School. It's actually not one, it's the first girls' school in Asia, in entire Asia, where they used to teach girls in vernacular. I mean, there was La Marche near, of course, but that was, La Marche was specifically for the British women, not for commoners. So Bethune was established by John Drinkwater Bethune and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. I mean, we had a chair in our school which was used by him. And so this is actually from where Bethune is on Vivekananda Road, and from there this entire stretch of road starts, which goes to College Street, which is again 10 to 15 minutes walk. And College Street is the place where you have all this Hindu school, Hare School, Sanskrit Collegiate School, and Hindu College, which is now known as Presidency, Calcutta University, and Sanskrit College, and all these places. And of course, College Street is very famous to be the largest book market of India. I mean, it is. I think I have seen Daryaganj market in near Jama Mosque in Delhi, which sort of reminded me of College Street, and also Blossoms Book House in MG Road. But so think, you will know Blossoms, right? Blossoms in Bangalore. Think thousand Blossoms at one place. That is College Street.
I know, and apparently, this is not just the biggest book market in India, but also the largest second-hand book market in the whole of Asia. So it's very, very huge, and that's what we're talking of, and very significant, like you said. Not just the books that the book market, but the number of educational institutions also, some of which Madhurima called out, very important, and you cannot miss it. So one of the important veins or the arteries of Calcutta and North Calcutta especially. A good walk around the place, and I understand a popular hangout joint for the students and even people who want to hang out is the coffee house, or the Indian coffee house in the area.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is where all this, the revolution started in India, I think. I mean, coffee house is an amazing place, and that is also most of the Bengali people start there. I mean, at least during our age, we started our dating from coffee house. I mean, it is such an amazing place. It holds so much value to our life. I mean, I'm not talking about the quality of food and all. I don't think that should be even a talking point here.
Right.
I mean, it is an experience to go to coffee house and sit there and drink their coffee and that sandwich, and that is it. I mean, and then just next to coffee house they have CCC, Chakraborty, Chatterjee and Kong. It's a bookstore, and I don't think there is any book in the world that they cannot give you. I mean, you name a book and they will take it out from somewhere other, and they will give it to you. So it is, and it is in the same institute. Not many people know, but I think if you're going to a coffee house, you must go to Chakraborty, Chatterjee and Kong. It's one of the finest bookstores in the world I have seen. So that is there, and College Street is also College Street. I didn't mention, but it is also home to the Calcutta Medical College. It's the first medical college in the country. So it's you walk there and you understand. I mean, this place is teeming with all this. Places of geniuses, I would say, and so College Street is also home to Mohini Mohan Kanjilal's sari shop. So that is one of the iconic places. Like, I mean, anyone who marries, there are 2-3 places from where in Bengal people would be people will be going to buy saris from those few institutes. So Mohini Mohan Kanjilal is one of the finest sari shops in West Bengal, not just Calcutta. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So definitely a must visit, not just for the books and the institutes, but from the sounds of it, a lot of emotional value also, right? And a lot of these stores, right, from the bookstores to the libraries to the sari stores now. It's brilliant. And walking around would definitely be the best possible way to kind of enjoy the most and get the most out of this experience, right, Madhurima? Now, walking around, right, we have kind of covered different parts now, and they've been like very different, even in terms of the characteristics, right? One was the College Street, and the other one was Kumartoli, an important area. Then the busy streets of Shyam Bazaar and all of that. Where next are you taking us to?
Yeah, so I'll take you guys to Central next, Calcutta. So basically Central is also a metro station, and once you get down from there, you can visit 2 places. One is the MG Road, which is Mahatma Gandhi Road, Boro Bazar, which is again one of the, I think, so when I used to look at Boro Bazar when I was a child, I used to think they're holding a mela here every day. Like every day a fair is going on there. It looked like that. So, it's one of the busiest place in the earth, and the amount of business transaction that takes place, it's just incredible. I mean, Boro Bazar, it's, oh my God, I haven't explored it fully well till now. And the next place you must go is Cheetpur area, which is also where Zakaria Street is. So Zakaria Street is one of the, I think that's the best place where I had tasted amazing food in Calcutta. You must go. And Zakaria Street is also home to Nakhoda Mosque. Nakhoda Mosque was basically built by the Gujarati Memoni community, and they were sailors, and the mosque looks like a ship. So there are many pictures if you just search on Instagram, and I think Declares had these beautiful shots from top. During Eid, it's all lit up and it's beautifully done, and this wide angle shot exactly on top. I think he climbs one of the old buildings and he takes that shot, and from top it actually looks like a ship. The Nakhoda Mosque. It's one of the most beautiful architectures I have seen in.
Believed to also be one of the biggest mosques in East India, right?
Yeah, Eastern India. Yeah. It's the largest. Largest.
Very, very. Yeah, and interesting connection there. While you say that it was built by the Kachi Memon community from Gujarat, right? So that also kind of throws a little bit of a bouncer then. It's almost like in the diametrically opposite end of India.
Yeah, actually,
the connection is very, very interesting. And I also believe there is semblance to, this was Sikandra, I think, right? Akbar's mausoleum, basically. So there is big resemblance to that as well. is what I understand, and I don't know how far this is valid. I have to check my sources, but Nakhoda apparently means a captain of the ship or something on those lines. So
Captain of the
that
ship.
relation
Yeah.
to
Right.
it looking like a ship, I guess that's where that comes from as well. And yeah, you were talking about Zakaria Street, so please tell us a little more. I know I've heard from this from various sources, but would love to hear from you as well.
Yeah, sure. So Zakaria Street is, they have amazing food there. So I mean, but one food I must mention when we're talking about Zakaria is you should go to this place called Adam's Kebab Center. Adam's Kebab Center. Okay, I'm not sure if that guy is Christian, but he makes the most amazing shutali kebab. Shutali kebab, how they make it is they put that minced meat on a skewer and they hold that minced meat with the help of a suta. I mean cotton, cotton thread. And it's a very hole in the wall kind of place, and you would probably just miss it. But so that is one thing. There is Delhi 6, which is also a very good place, and of course Royal India biryani, which I'll come back to that later when we're talking about food in Calcutta. And another thing you can try in Zakaria Street is eating halwa. I mean, Calcutta is very famous for sweets, mishti, but that halwa is not a very Bengali mishti, but I mean that's not something that you find anywhere else in Calcutta. It's only found in Zakaria Street. It's very, very good to eat. And I have found something similar in Lucknow in my later travels. So I'm not sure if it has got any kind of, reference to Lucknow Nawab Wazid Ali Shah being exiled in Calcutta, and if there is any connection between the two. But yeah, I mean that halwai place was also very amazing, and it's very unique in Calcutta.
Very interesting. But one question I have is the Zakaria Street like always bustling and buzzing with all of the food action around, or does this just kind of amplify during Ramadan, right? During Iftar?
No. Always. I didn't visit during Ramadan. So yeah.
Definitely. You can definitely draw the liking to a similar kind of a concept, I guess, from the Mosque Street in Bangalore, and even the very popular Muhammad Ali Road in Bombay, right? On very similar lines, filled with very. I mean, these are all like you said. A lot of these places are a hole in the wall kind of place. Not too posh, not too fancy, but the food, I think that's what matters. Yeah, and that's incredible. So wonderful. Definitely worthy of spending some time here and trying out a few of the different things that Madhurima kind of suggested. You should try out the different kind of places, right? I know we touched upon food a little bit, but Calcutta food is completely different. It's in a different league in itself, so we'll definitely have to talk more about it. But before we get to the just the food section of Calcutta, right? Is there more places that you would like to touch upon?
Yeah, then next from Central, you should go to Park Street, Chorongi area, which is one of the very posh and very old parts of Calcutta. Okay. So again, you just hop into the metro and get down at Park Street. You can also get down at Esplanade area. Esplanade is very good for shopping, and Esplanade is also the place where New Market is, Sure. And from Esplanade to Park Street, I think it's 2 to 3 kilometers, which I usually walk on a good day, but you can also take a metro. And I think you should start from New Market, because it's a very unique kind of marketplace, and it has amazing places which sort of highlights the diversity of the city. So in one place, also New Market is one of the best places if you want to buy clothes at a cheap rate and incredible prices. They sell you really good natural cotton stuff. I mean, really good price. And just not New Market, there is now there are many shops around New Market, and it's actually Esplanade is again, it's the bus hub, and it is also very close to Shialda station. So, and it is very close to Eden Gardens of Calcutta.
Yep.
So it is actually the heart of Calcutta. It's at one part you have the north, and on the other you have the south, and in between there is Esplanade area.
Yeah.
I would just highlight on the food areas so that you understand how it is different from these two parts. This is also the place where Bow Barracks is. Bow Barracks is the last remaining few Anglo-Indians of old days who are still there in Calcutta.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
it is also the place where you can see the Christmas festivity, and Christmas festivity is huge in Calcutta. It's as big as Durga Puja, if I can say it.
Very interesting.
Not just 1,000 pandals though. That happens across the city. It happens only in Park Street and Esplanade area, but it happens, and it is huge in festivity during Christmas. And when in Newmarket, you must not miss this place called Nahum's.
Yeah.
Now, Nahum's is a Jewish bakery, and it's one of its kind. It's the last one remaining in the city, and no Christmas is complete in any houses in Calcutta unless you have got a Nahum's cake. Nahum's plum cake. Last year when I was traveling in Ethiopia, and I was just back from Calcutta at that time, and I had got that Nahum's cake to celebrate that in Ethiopia. So I would be celebrating Christmas in Ethiopia, but which is also a country of old Christians, but the old Christians tradition, but I need my Nahum's cake.
Yeah.
So, it's one of the iconic things you must try. And I don't think you get Nahum's plum cakes every time. It's very seasonal. It happens only during the month of Christmas, but otherwise also Nahum sells really good cakes, fruit cakes and all those, and those are nice. Those are really nice. You must check out Nahum when you are there in Esplanade.
Yeah, very, very iconic also, right? Apparently been around from early 1900s. That's when this was set up, so it's been around for over 100 years.
Yeah, so once that, Nahum's and Newmarket is there, and also just behind Newmarket there is this place called Hog Market, and there is a saying in Bengali that Newmarket e bagher dudh pawa jay, that you can also get tiger's milk in Newmarket. So that is Hog Market for you. There is nothing in the world that is not sold in Hog Market. I'm not talking about Yuhan kind of local market, but it's a wet market, and you get different types of fruits and vegetables and meats and meat cart and everything is sold there in Hog Market, and some of the most freshest produce is sold there. Also, Esplanade is home to some of the oldest and finest hotels of Calcutta, like say Oberoi and Park, and these are very nice places.
Definitely. That's what I love, I guess, about the city is also, on one hand, you have the cultural aspect of it in terms of the pandals of the Durga Puja, right? How they are. And on the other hand, or at the same time, you also have places like Park Street, where another festival is celebrated with the same fervor and the same zest. So I think that's what's so beautiful about Calcutta, right? And then obviously
everybody takes part. It's not like okay, fine, I'm following this particular religion, so I won't be taking part in that. No, it's not like that. Everybody takes part in everything, and I think it's the food that connects everybody in the city.
Right, from Park Street to Zakaria Street, and like we were saying, right, the Durga Puja and the beautiful food preparations there as well. Food, I guess, is a very common thread in all of these, I guess, celebrations, and very, very communal in nature, right? Everybody participates. It's not just restricted to one community. But talking a little bit more about food, right? Because food is like an institution in itself in Calcutta. There's going to be literally like pages and pages written just about the foods of Calcutta, right? So would you want to shed some light? I mean, obviously, during the conversation also, you've been calling out beautifully a lot of these places, but any important call-outs you'd like to make of specific food places?
Yeah, so I would like to talk about biryani and Calcutta Pice hotels.
Okay.
So Calcutta biryani is an enigma in itself, and the first culture shock that I had in my life was when I tasted a biryani which was not Calcutta biryani, and I had no idea that biryani can be prepared in some other ways as well. I had absolutely no idea. So what happened in Calcutta is basically the last Nawab of Lucknow, Awadh. Nawab Wazid Ali Shah, he was exiled from Awadh, and he was exiled by the British, and he was given a place in Mitya Bruce. It's one of the suburbs of Calcutta, and his house in Calcutta was by the banks of Ganga, and he came here with all his, his harem, his people, and, a lot of people followed him here all the way from Awadh. So in Mitya Bruce, you still have a lot of people who speak a different language. They speak Urdu, I think. Yeah, they speak Urdu, and their food, their culture, the celebration, it's very much assimilated in the culture of Calcutta. But and the biryani is the best example of that, but it was very different when they first came here. So he started, the Awadhi biryani, the Lucknow biryani, he started the same thing in Calcutta also, but he did that with a little alteration. He added a piece of potato in it. Yeah. And now there are many, many theories. Somebody says, no, the Portuguese had brought potato. It was a novelty, and it was a newly found thing in Calcutta, and not many people had access to it. So it was, it was not what potato is of this day. So it was very rare thing. So and many people say no, because he was exiled and he didn't have access to all his wealth anymore, and they had to supplement for the meat that is a very integral part of biryani. So that's why potato came in. But whatever way it is, I would never have a biryani without potato. I would take an extra potato. I could trade my piece of meat for that potato. So
yeah, very unique. I have to agree. Very, very unique to Calcutta. Me having obviously lived in the south for the longest time. We have the Hyderabad style of biryanis to the Bangalore style of biryanis. They're all different, but very, very different. But something I really loved, and you're right on the theory, right? There's a lot of them floating around. But one of them I kind of came across also while looking up was that apparently because he was in exile, he really didn't have the same resources and the same wealth and stuff like that. So things kind of cut down a little bit. Like he was operating on a very lean budget, let's just say.
Yeah.
And that's how like meat kind of slowly was replaced, not completely, but part of it was replaced by adding of a good portion of potatoes. And
and what a brilliant addition is that.
I know. And like you rightly mentioned, right, potato was not just another vegetable like we have today. It was considered to be very exotic in those days, but it was just brought in by I guess the Britishers or the Portuguese, whoever it is, but it was considered very exotic. So yeah, it's a great story though, right? I mean, next time you eat Calcutta biryani or find potato in your biryani, you can kind of draw back on the backstory of how the origins of the Calcutta biryani like we know today, how those are. And these are the, I think, wonderful stories that I most enjoy of these conversations, right? Otherwise, you're eating, you're enjoying, it's delicious and all of that, but when you kind of know a little bit more about the connection, then it just kind of completes that loop. Now, you were also kind of moving on from the Calcutta biryani. You were also touching upon the Pice hotels of
the Pice hotels,
Can you tell us a little bit about that as well? Because that's also very unique, I find.
Yeah. So what happened? So Pice hotels can be compared with the military hotels of Bangalore. I'm drawing all this comparison so that it's easier for you to understand because you haven't been to Calcutta. Yeah. So Pice hotel, what happened is a lot of people from suburbs used to come and live in Calcutta. They used to study here, they used to work here, but because they're, at that time probably not many Indian men knew how to cook, or they didn't even have access. They used to stay as a paying guest or in shared accommodation and stuff like that. And during those times, the Pice hotels came to their rescue. So they would tell that they would be serving, the Pice hotels would be serving them with rice and fish, the staple, the Bengali staple, on a daily basis, and they would be paying them at the end of the month. So this was the system of Pice hotels. if you go to Pice Hotel, the prices are on the lower side, and they serve you rice as many times as you want, but the fish would be served once. And they also serve you sabzi and dal and all. Those are all bound for refills, though.
Yeah.
And they also serve you on banana leaf, and it's very old school way of serving. And it's a shared communal meal. It's like they have set up benches. It's not chair, table, and all those fine dining places. No, it's a bench where many people are sitting there, and many people
First
are
come,
sharing
first serve
that
type
place.
of thing.
Yeah, like that.
It's a very, very good budget option, I guess, if you want to try out. But yeah, like Madhurima said, try out the fish of these spice hotels. Just make sure that you watch out for the bones, I guess, because these are all river-based fish, right? So that's why they usually have a lot more bones than the other ones. But yeah, thank you so much for calling that out. I think it kind of calls out also the diversity also, right, in terms of the food choices that Kolkata has to offer. But a great way to cap off the food kind of a trail would be by calling out some of the important sweets, right? Because sweets are a very, very integral part of the Bengali cuisine. So all I know is sandesh and rasgulla. Madhurima, so why don't you call out a little bit in terms of what are the places one should check out for the sweets, the desserts of Bengal or Kolkata?
Yeah, Sandesh and Rasgulla are the flag bearers. And so Sandesh there are so many kinds of Sandesh whenever you go to any mishti dokan, as we call the sweet shops in Bengal. And they also, I told you about Horidash Modok when we started this conversation, who sells really nice Kachori in North Kolkata. They also serve amazing sweets. A lot of Sandesh it's found there. And if you're visiting Calcutta during winters, you must have sweets made of Nolen gur, which is palm jaggery. So they put this palm jaggery in every kind of sweets. It can be Sandesh, it can be kacha golla, it can be rasgulla and everything, and they taste so amazing. It's just too amazing. So that you must try. And Nobin Chandra is one of the oldest sweet shops in Calcutta. So is K.C. Nag, and Bhim Chandra Pal is one. And then in south where I stay, we have Panna sweets, and that's another really, really nice place in South Calcutta. In case you're going to South, I mean, I'm not talking much about South in this podcast, but Panna sweets deserves mention here. And there are many others on Gorihat. So basically every neighborhood has multiple sweet shops, and the one which attracts the maximum number of locals, you should go there as a safe bet. And you would be happy to eat the sweet. That's how it is. Yeah.
Like we kind of finish off a meal with dessert and sweets, we'd like to kind of start closing off this podcast as well, this episode as well, with the delicacies of Sandesh, Rasgulla, and several others that one should check out, like Madhurima mentioned. Madhurima, any final or parting thoughts before we kind of wrap up the episode?
Yeah, I think the best time to visit Calcutta is during Durga Puja or after Durga Puja during the winter hours. Try to avoid visiting Calcutta during summer months because temperature goes up to 40, 45, and it's dangerous at that time. And it's a safe place. It's totally a very safe place for women, solo travelers. And but yeah, I mean, if you're pointing your camera to somebody, just ask permission because people might get a bit cranky at times. And another thing you should experience in Calcutta is the early morning market at Mollik Ghat flower market. It is one of the largest flower markets in Asia, and it is just at the bottom of Howrah Bridge. So if you love photography, that is one spot you must not miss in Calcutta. It's not known to many people till now, so it's sort of like inside information. So but that's one place. And
definitely. Yeah, thank you so much, Madhurima, for calling out all of these beautiful places in Calcutta and calling them out so patiently. I remember, I think it was 20 years ago that I first, and that was my only visit so far to Calcutta, and that
Oh,
had me
okay.
like filled with excitement. And this podcast kind of brought back a lot of those memories and a lot more actually, because it was a fleeting visit. We didn't have too much time,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, it brings back good memories and a lot of nostalgia. We will make sure for anybody interested who wants to go and look at it a little more deeply, we'll link all of your blog posts that you've written beautifully about places in Calcutta. Thank you so much, and we look forward to following your journeys in Calcutta and outside.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you.
That was yet another great episode of the Musafir Stories. If you guys like the show, please subscribe to us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Savan, Pocket Casts, Castbox, Stitcher, or any other podcasting app available on iOS or Android. Please do leave us a review on iTunes. It goes a long way in the show's discoverability. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We go by the handle The Musafir Stories. Or, if it suits you, you could email us at themusafirstories@gmail.com or visit our website at www.themusafirstories.com for more information. All of these links will be made available in the show notes section of each episode. So here's to more traveling, sharing, and inspiring. Stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, happy travels and goodbye.